Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. It goes without saying that Peter Tosh is one of the greatest reggae artists to ever live, not to mention the prototype of the confrontational Rasta soldier. He established himself as the straight-shooting Natty Dread and one of the ultimate icons of rebellion in popular culture. Right from Peter's days with the Wailers, it was clear that he was the most ideologically hardcore member of the trio of himself, Bob and Bunny. But by the time he embarked on his solo career and released his debut album Legalize It in 1976, it was clear that he was an entirely different kind of animal. Out of the radical genius mind of the Stepping Razor came 7 incredible albums during his solo career, but opinion polls, critics and commentators always seem to zero in on his second album in the incredible Equal Rights as his greatest record, a sentiment that I strongly share. Though Legalize It and Bush Doctor are definitely in the conversation, Equal Rights cemented Tosh's position as the Malcolm X of reggae music and reggae's most controversial and confrontational voice. Inspired by his difficult life growing up in grinding poverty, his frustrations coming up in the music industry, the horrifying oppression being suffered by his kinsmen in South Africa, Rhodesia and Namibia, and the brutality that he often faced during his face-offs with the police in Jamaica, he channeled what was red-hot anger in his soul into the super-intelligent witty lyrics delivered in his majestic baritone voice, all riding on the killer spongy reggae instrumentals, courtesy of his brand new backing band, World Sound and Power, and gave the reggae world what we now know today as the Equal Rights album. Tosh is regarded today as something of the musical patron saint of the oppressed worldwide, especially in Africa, where his hardcore musical messages demanding revolution seem to resonate deeper today than any other reggae artists ever, and this includes Bob Marley. This all began from the Stepping Razor's sophomore jam. Let's take a look at Equal Rights, the Stepping Razor's militant masterpiece. The story behind this album began just after the release of Legalize It in June 1976. The album Legalize It became a critical success with a controversial subject matter that led to it being banned in Jamaica, but still prompted a huge wave of interest and curiosity abroad, and this drew the attention of Columbia Records, which signed Peter on a 2-album deal. Legalize It had been released under his own label, Untold Diplo, an imprint that he had been grinding with since his exit from Island Records. So being picked up by such a major label was a big deal to Tosh, and a chance to launch his emerging solo career into the stratosphere. After a brief tour of the US to promote Legalize It, Peter swung into action to record the songs for his new album in the fall of 1976. He chose one of Jamaica's finest studios at the time, in Randy's, which was owned by Vincent and Patricia Chin, eventual owners of VP Records. He headed into the studio with his new backing band, World Sound and Power, which he had put together a few months before. This killer band had some of the most elite musicians in Jamaica and included the persons of Sly and Robbie, Mikey Chung, Uzziah Thompson, Robbie Lynn, Keith Sterling, and Noel Sims. In addition to this, Peter also recruited established legends like Bunny Wailer, Carlton Barrett, Dirty Harry Hall, and Bobby Ellis, among others, with Carl Peterson as recording engineer and Peter himself acting as his own producer. With such an amazing elite crew led by a hungry, inspired Peter Tosh, what you get is a smoking hot, phenomenal album. Just one look at the album cover, put together by Andy Engel and photography by Kim Gottlieb, sets the revolutionary tone before you even play the first track. The cover art is a patchwork of pictures of Peter's face, of him in dark glasses and a beret looking like a Jamaican Che Guevara. The white dots that separate each picture indicates that what you're looking at are postage stamps depicting Peter as a national hero. This 8-song masterpiece of an album kicks off with the track Get Up Stand Up, a song that originally appeared in the Wailers album Burning. It's a track that I believe is one of the greatest protest songs in the history of popular music, and Tosh rendered a ferocious version that many fans feel has just as much, if not more heart than the original. Next up is the apocalyptic admonition of Downpressor Man, an intimidating 6-minute prophecy aimed at the oppressors of the poor in high places, who Tosh warns in the song would have nowhere to run on the day when Jah will execute judgment on all. The song has startling lyrics like "You're gonna run to the rocks, but the rocks shall be melting. You're gonna run to the sea, but the sea will be boiling on that day." Now on to the next track. What would militancy be without an injection of self-belief? And the third track, I Am That I Am, a self-affirming masterpiece, opens up with one of Peter's most powerful lines. I'm not here to live up to your expectations, neither are you here to live up to mine. It's a mellow number, yet solid and uplifting, delivered in Peter's rich, deep baritone, urging the high and mighty that look down on others never to underestimate their fellow man. Bunny Wailer's backup vocals and harmonies on this track did wonders, and everything adds up to one of the most beloved tracks on the album and one of Peter Tosh's best ever songs. The fourth song, Stepping Razor, is arguably Tosh's signature track, and it's one that inspired the creation of his alter ego of the same name. The Stepping Razor is a karate expert, a revolutionary, an all-round badass who was not to be messed with because, well, he's dangerous. This song is an almost 6-minute warning to overbearing bullies and roughnecks, and was written by Wailer's mentor Joe Higgs. Then you have the title track, Equal Rights, simply 5 minutes and 59 seconds of Peter laying his cards on the table. The song's lyrics capture the essence of his worldview. I don't want no peace, I need equal rights and justice. What is due to Caesar, you better give it up to Caesar. And what belongs to I and I, you better give it up to I and I. Cause I don't want no peace, I need equal rights and justice. It's very difficult for me to choose my favorite track on the album, but with a gun to my head, I choose this one. Peter lived and breathed this song. He faced plenty of backlash, violence and death several times due to his unflinching devotion to his rights and never wavered up until the very end. Next up is the black anthem, African, in which he sent the message of unity among Africans, regardless of nationality. Of course, also featuring the unstoppable backup vocals of Bunny Wailer and the irresistible instrumentals of Word, Sound and Power. Peter's witty wordplay was also remarkable, with lines like, if you come from Taiwan, you're an African. If you come from Taitu, you're an African. The last two tracks on the album, In Jah Guide and Apartheid, round up what is essentially a phenomenal archetype of what a militant reggae album is supposed to be like. It wasn't only a critic's delight, but also became a big commercial success that went gold in the US and led to a huge world tour. While Legalize It was an introduction to Peter's world of philosophies with sprinkles of love songs and street commentary, Equal Rights was an escalation of musical hostilities, an almost 39-minute throwdown of a fiery in-your-face musical militancy that would only become more pronounced in Peter's career with the passage of time. Apart from being a declaration of war on what Peter so eloquently described as the shitstem, it was a musical triumph which has seen its place as one of the greatest albums of all time across all genres, and is indeed the finest creation of the legend that is Peter Tosh. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.